All right, guys, it's time for the second flower. Last video, we did this lavender. I am going to click and drag it all, my black arrow to select everything, and I'm just going to hit group, which you should see here. If you don't see here, it could be right here, or you can go to object group, okay? And that means when I click and drag, I can move this whole lavender itself, and I'm just going to shrink it a little bit. And we are now going to focus on the tulip, all right? So Tulip, we're going to learn some different tools. We're going to use the shape tool again. We are going to use the pen tool, but we are going to also learn about our effect panel. And specifically, we're going to use a tool, distort and transform zigzag. Um, we're also going to use and learn about something that's called expand, which basically will expand something to a shape. It'll release it from whatever effects we've applied to it. We're also going to use the shape builder and something called the pathfinder. Okay. Awesome. So let's start with the tulip. First things first, we're going to make the tulip bulb or the main tulip flower. And to do this, we're going to right click on ellipse or whatever shape is currently the top dog in the shape tool section. And I would say, let's choose rounded rectangle. And right now my stuff is still just the stroke green from the last flower. So I'm going to switch it. I'm going to double click on my fill and I'm going to choose like a nice red color. Awesome. And I'm going to click and drag and just create kind of like an even rounded square right now. Okay. I'm going to zoom in a bit. Perfect. Like this, which zoom in is the same here as it is for Photoshop. It is control plus plus and minus. Okay. Awesome. And two fingers is moving around. Okay. So we are now going to take our pen tool and I want us to switch and let's get just a regular black stroke right now. So no fill, black stroke. And I am going to just click on one side, the left white side next to the square. I'm going to hold down Shift and just move my cursor to the other side and click. And then I'm going to hit A to release my pen tool. So we have just a black line right here. I'm going to use my black direct selection arrow, or sorry, just black selection arrow, click on this line, and we are going to make this wave, which is how we're going to create this cut for the top of the tulip. So we're going to go to Effect, Distort and Transform, Zigzag. All right. So the Distort and Transform panel, like this whole section right here, allows you to kind of warp and mess with lines and shapes. So we want to zigzag this line. There we go. And you can kind of see you have the zigzag panel pop up. And here we can adjust the size, like how tall the zigzag is, how many like zigzag segments there are. So I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to just click OK right now. And I'm going to move this. I want like one main peak in the middle. Okay, so I'm going to just place this like that. And I think what I'll do is then I'll click on my red shape. And if I go to the side corner right here, or the middle of the side right here, and I see this tool pop up, I'm going to click, hold down Alt or Option and squish it in a little bit. And basically, I'm just wanting it to be that there's like half a pyramid here, one whole pyramid in the middle, and then another half pyramid. But again, not a big deal. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to click on our zigzag line, and it's something that we will learn is this just only appears like it's a zigzag. To the computer, it's not a zigzag. And what I want you to do is hit Command Y or Control Y, and you have now gone to the skeleton or the bones view of Illustrator. This is what the computer sees, okay? It just sees the paths, right? So the zigzag hasn't actually been applied to the path. So we've got to apply it so that we can actually mess with it and use it on the red shape. So let's hit Control Y or Command Y to get out of the bone view. Awesome. Now let's click on our zigzag shape we made, and we're going to go Object, Expand Appearance. Awesome. Now, if we hit Command Y again, or Control Y to get into the skeletal view, now we can see the zigzag, okay? So we just released that effect to the path. I'm going to hit Command Y to go back. Okay. So now, hopefully you guys are good catching up. Remember, you can always pause if you're getting confused and go back, all right? We're now going to use the selection arrow, click drag, so we have both the black zigzag and your red square selected. And we are now going to find our shape builder tool, all right? Now, this is also in the same spot usually as the paint bucket, the live paint bucket. So if you see the paint bucket, right click on it to find the shape builder tool. All right. And again, if you ghost over this shape's super cool. It allows you to basically merge or subtract shapes from each other manually. So what we're going to do, and once you click that, once you're over here, if you zoom in, you can see there's now these like little grayed out pixels or dots that appear as I move my cursor around. So if I hold down Alt, you'll see a little minus appears next to my arrow. So I'm basically telling the system I want it to subtract this shape. So I'm going to click Alt, or I'm going to hold down Alt and click, and that just removed the top of this. So now we can see we got the tulip shape. And I can also go over and hold down Alt and click the black lines. Oops. I just want to remove the black lines on that side. Okay. And now I'm going to use my selection arrow, click out of that. And I can actually click and delete this original squiggly line because I don't want that. I just wanted to use it basically as like a cookie cutter. And that's what we did. The shape builder allowed us to use it as a cookie cutter. Okay. Now I'm going to click on this shape, and then I'm going to click on my direct selection, and I am going to go below the top part of my tulip. I'm going to go right here and click and drag to grab these bottom 4 anchor points, because I want to click on the meatball here that's inside the points and drag to curve the bottom of my tulip. So now it's not a nice round bottom of a tulip. Perfect. And if I want, I can click the corners up here, and I can round these out if I want it to look a little softer. I don't really want to for this one though. I could also click and move points up if I wanted to make that middle part a little taller. That's fine. Okay. Now let's make the stem and the leaves. Okay. So again, I know that was a little complicated, but we just used a shape tool, pen tool. We used effect, distort, transform, zigzag, and we used that zigzag line to cut out the top of our tulip. And then we used the shape builder to do that. All right. So next thing is we're going to just grab our pen tool. We're going to find a nice green color for our stem. And we are going to click, hold down Shift, click somewhere below. There we have our stem. Like in the last video, this is too thin. We're going to grab it and go over to stroke and increase it to 5 points. Now it's on top of our flower, which we don't want. So we're going to click on it, right click, arrange, send to back, which means it's going to send it behind the tulip. Awesome. Now we are going to use the Pathfinder to make quick leaves. All right. So first thing we're going to do is let's switch our stroke to the fill. I'm going to click this little button right here to swap them. And then I am going to grab an ellipse tool. I'm going to hold down Alt and click and drag to make a quick circle. Okay. I'm going to hold down, once I click the selection arrow, I'm going to click on this circle and I'm going to hold down Alt, click and drag to make a copy. Okay. Now we're going to grab both these circles and we are going to go over to the Pathfinder tool, which if you don't see it right here, you can go to Window And in window, if you go down, it's got all of our different panels alphabetically organized. So we want to find Pathfinder. There we go. And what we want to do is we want to hit this guy. This is the intersect Pathfinder. What it's going to do is going to take those two shapes, and wherever those two shapes are overlapping, it's going to make a shape from that. So I'm going to click this. Boom. It just made a little leaf from two overlapping circles. So I can make this bigger, and then I can just fit him, and a cute little leaf. All right. Now up here, you see I made my leaf a little pointy, and how I did that is I used my white arrow and I clicked on one end of the leaf, and then I clicked S, which is a shortcut for scale. And if I click and drag, I can kind of warp the upper part of the leaf. And see, I messed up because I did this when the leaf was still right side up. So let me try it when it's still right side up first. So I click this top anchor point, and then I click S, which is scale. And then I just click and drag. There you go. And it basically manually moves the handlebars for me to make him a little sharper, which is what I wanted. And then I think I'm going to also click the anchor points on the side. So this anchor point, hold down Shift, click the other anchor point, and then I'm just going to click and drag them down to make the bottom of the leaf a little fatter. Perfect. And then with it selected, direct or regular selection arrow, click on this. I'm going to go up to the corner, wait till I see this tool, rotate. There's a leaf. Now for the tulip, I thought it'd be cute to apply the same zigzag we used on the top of the tulip to create kind of a wavy stem. So if you click on the stem here, you can go back to Effect, Distort and Transform, Zigzag. And on this zigzag panel, instead of it being a corner, let's click Smooth. And I'm going to make this a little smaller, so it's just a little more subtle. All right, so the size of like 0.04 inches, and I want to say only 2 segments. Okay, you can make this crazy if you want. If you want a really wiggly stem, you can do that. I'm going to just do 2 and click OK. So now it's just a little kind of more wobbly. It almost looks a little more natural. And I don't know why, I just decided that'd be kind of cute to do for the tulip. I might make a copy of this leaf by, if I click on it and hold down Alt, I see the double arrows. I can click and drag, and then I can rotate it. Maybe put another version of leaf up here. Perfect. I think I'm going to make the bulb head a little smaller. There you go. And there we have our tulip. All right. So for this tulip, we learned about our effect kind of warping panels, the things that can help us warp shapes, words, anything. We also learned about our shape builder tool and our Pathfinder panel. Okay. Awesome. Next video, we are going to make this standard. This is actually kind of modeled off of a forget-me-not, but standard kind of flower. Okay.